everybody. Welcome to the new normal. This is Truth Tuesday. So my buddy Satoshi Sean's joining me. I've got a quick announcement. Reggie needs some help from the community. Another lawfare attack is happening. Our nation's in trouble, and you can help if you feel called to do so. So I'll be right back right after this. Hey there, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I've been pretty distracted. My kiddo's been not feeling well, and trying to advocate for him. It feels like the whole world's kind of fallen apart. I was trying to look through some news earlier today, and I was looking for a statement from Trump on, because I had heard Danny Bongino talking about that Trump had made a statement about Biden, Hunter getting, his conviction, which, no surprise there. I mean, the fact that people are taking, excited that the judicial system worked when, like, we all saw Hunter doing drugs while he had the possession of the gun or whatever. We're surprised that he got convicted. I mean, nobody should be surprised of that outcome, in my opinion, but it's pretty sad state of affairs of, what situation our judicial system's in, and watching, what they did to Trump or what they're doing to him, and this whole lawfare, and how our judicial system is being used
Yes and no,
against people.
because it's not our judicial system.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I do think so. Like I said, yes and no.
Okay.
I've said a million times, the only thing holding this country together is spit and the Supreme Court. That's it. But the other courts, they're not real. We don't have any law. And I remember sitting in court in my my Texas county, where racism's dead. Well, it's still racism, but it's not really bad. And watching the same charge that a white guy walked up before the judge, and he understood, right? And then this black guy went up and he sent him back to jail, sent him to prison. Like they both missed a probation check-in or something.
Okay.
And the white guy was like, "Oh, I had a dentist appointment and it ran late," or something. It was like a stupid excuse. He said, "But I didn't want to miss it," But it was a decent, valid excuse. And he's like, "Okay, he reported in twice, or A black guy went up there and he was like, "Yeah, I was waiting for a job interview." And that was the only time I had it. I tried to reschedule, and then I went into to a probation officer afterwards, but it was a late check-in. And the judge is like, "Nah, well, you got to go back to jail. Your probation is rescinded. You broke it." And I out loud said, "Huh?" in the court, because I was waiting for Robert to go up for his like, I think he like wrote on cut writing on the wall with a Sharpie or something. So he had to go. We were at court for him, and I was I couldn't even keep myself quiet. I was like, "What?" Everyone looked at me.
What just happened? Yeah.
Sorry about that. But then I was like to the kids, I was like, "Did you see what happened?" So it does. It wasn't the best, but it was decent. You could argue that the lawyer would go to the press and say what happened. There's but now what the world has seen is that we don't have a judicial system. We have the judicial branch of government, which if you have super amount of money and a super amount of power, or just a super amount of money, you can get there and you can get justice. But they can do so much to you. I mean, they could put Trump in jail. They could put
They're
you.
threatening it. Yeah, that's kind of looming out there. It seems to be like you can almost smell it in the air that that's coming next.
And they put the Congress has put out a new law where if he loses Secret Service, he can never
Yeah,
go back.
Ninja was talking about it this morning or yesterday. It's like
Yeah,
8105 or something like that, that he would lose Secret Service. And they're saying that they want that so that they could, what happens to people that go to prison
well, we could ask Jeffrey Epstein.
or
Or,
McAfee. You check
yeah,
in, but you don't check out.
that's Tulsi Gabbard was saying that. She said that as soon as that is like, hey, they're trying to kill him. If they're trying to get rid of his Secret Service, they are literally trying to kill him. But yeah, it's very obvious that they're trying to, but they're so freaking stupid because everything they did, you know, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, they're pissed now that Republicans came in and they're like, we're doing that, and they're like, that's wrong. Like, yeah, but you did it, so now we're going to do it. We're going to do it this time. If you get control back next time, don't do it, or else we'll do it again.
But when Trump did his interview with Dr. Phil, he said, this is a chance for you to be a big hero. If you win in November, I mean, are you going to, lock them all up, do whatever? And he said, I think you're going to be really surprised. And he made it sound like he wasn't going to um, go after them all and hang them from the highest tree or
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't know, but he could technically pardon himself, couldn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. We're in this weird place that it's surreal. But I mean, obviously, trying to take away his uh, Secret Service. I said that was the big deal the whole time. I'm like, what are they going to do with that? He has to have Secret Service. If they put him in the jail cell, there's going to have to be Secret Service agents there. They're going to be the ones in control. They're going to be, and then it's just it's a crazy thing. And now that's all coming to fruition, which I didn't think it was going to go this far, but it
I
is.
didn't.
And the rallying cry, the justification that the blue hairs have, it's just 34, 34, 34.
There's a lot of pieces right now and people being threatened with jail. I mean, they were threatening to put Bannon in for contempt of Congress, which when Hunter was in,
They did.
they did put Bannon in jail?
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, they brought up like 100 people that have like this is the only
I
time.
never heard that he actually went.
Well, he got sentenced. He got jail time,
But
and
did he go?
I don't know, but I know he got the jail time, so I'm sure he's gonna have to go. But that it's I mean that's the thing. They brought this up. It's like, hey, no one's. This is not. This guy lied. This guy. This guy. This guy. This guy. We don't. It's never happened. So, but I think the thing that people see now all around the world is that we don't have a judicial system. It's just like medieval England or medieval wherever. The kings or the people who are in power can kind of do whatever they want, and because they make the law, they can weasel around the law, and if they need to, they can just pass a law to do what they want. We want to take away his Secret Service. Let's pass a law that any president that commits a crime loses their Secret Service.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost so bad. Like they could pass a law that he could lose his Secret Service and go to jail, and then they could pass a law after he is killed or dies. Like 6 months later, a year later, that is the opposite of that. So it would protect all the next, Biden when he comes out or whoever, they have. It's not real. We live in it. It's all a theater,
Mhm.
and people are starting to see that it's a theater. I mean, who was it? The rich bald guy on Shark Tank and all.
I don't know.
He was like, once they just brought those charges, he was like, I'm never building anything in New York City again. He goes, and I've talked to the rich people. We've had our billionaire meeting. We're not coming into New York. There's no way. If you could do this to this guy, you could do it to us. You could take away our skyscrapers. You could take away our massive, $1 billion apartment buildings. He said, no, we're not coming back here. And that sentiment got thrown out by everybody. Agreed with that. That it was just, if and when people don't understand because they're in these echo chambers, most people think that Trump ripped off all these people and these banks and stuff. And in the trial, they said we made money with these deals. We enjoyed being in business with him. Here's the thing, and they didn't talk about that. They didn't report that. They still went forward with the charges, but it's like, how is there a crime when two people enter into a contract and they both make money? It's not like someone got ripped off, but they said it was shady deals or whatever. Um,
Well, speaking of New York, and this has been, I mean, thinking of all these court systems and all this. So, a court in New York has frozen Reggie's assets. Um, and he has written this really humble post asking for help. And you can go to this website and give donations to his legal fund. He does do a thread on X where he goes through just the timeline so that you know the story of how this plays out, and um, and how it all happened. And let's see, where is this, where it started. This is not the first one.
and I am for I am. That's interesting. I got a funny story that Lisa knows about the you can't pay for a free pass. These people, like, look at Reggie. If you're not mega rich, that's that's a and that's what Joe. I had a meeting with Joe, and
And this is where, even when you're right, and the patent office is defending, you know, supporting his claims, all of this, but the big dogs are going after you, well, then they come after you the other way. They, it's like that, what's that other case where they, like, that guy had the, some, it was a patent or something, and then Amazon came after him and they decided to hit him the other way so that they seized his assets so that he couldn't defend himself that way. And then once they got possession or won in that court, then they went after him the other way. It was like, you know, hit him every side.
look
So
at what they're doing at Dragon Chain. I had a meeting with Joe, and this project that I'm signed on with, and he was so angry. He was so angry. I felt bad because I've known him for so long, and it would be like if you were, and he even said, "I'm just jaded, man. I'm so jaded." It'd be like if you were that way. If you were like me, it would make me really sad. So, but he was like, after the meeting, he's like, "Man, I would love to get on this and push at this if the SEC hadn't taken all of my money. If we're just, we're having to ask for a legal fund like that, and I can't build, I can't, move forward with things I want to move forward with because of that." Um, how it should work, and this is a big deal that it was just these words that I hear nowadays are so odd. Activist judges should be
Yeah.
removed, and that's how it is, man. Your people make sure it goes to this judge. You should be able, like, he should be able to walk in. Here's patents. You shouldn't even need a lawyer. That's how the U.S. system is supposed to work. If you're poor,
Right.
you walk in, you're like, hey, here's obvious stuff that this is stupid. I want to throw it out, and the judge will be like, yeah, you're right. Throw it out of court. You know, simple. But the whole legal system is politicized so much now, that it's set up to where they know where, like, they know the judge to go to. I mean, there's no way anyone, if you're being honest, even if you're the most liberal person, that there should have been a change of venue for Trump's case.
Absolutely.
You can't. No one could argue that, but they asked and like, no, no. It's he used the word witch hunt and all that, and it just seems like a buzzword, but it's legitimate. I mean, there's if you're like the subway rapist, yeah, they're gonna give you a change of venue. You're gonna go to upstate New York. You're not gonna be in New York City, where everyone knows. And how do you get a jury, especially with the derangement syndrome? There's my stepdad would happily fake it to get on that board, to get on that jury. There's it's so broken and so messed up. But I am Fran. Lisa, you know the story I told you about the keep off the grass at the park and the rich guy.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I am
The
Fran.
photography. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Um,
girl I know, she told me that she was dating this really really rich guy, and they went to the park for a picnic, and you could go picnicking everywhere, but there was this like really nice area that was if you had just couldn't go use it, it was just for looking, and so it had signs, stay off the grass, and there was a fine like $50 if you got caught, going on the grass or going in that area. And she was like, "Man, it'd be nice to go over there. Isn't it beautiful?" And then he goes, "Okay, let's go eat over there." She's like, "No, you can't. It's illegal." And he's like, "No, it just costs $50." It's like a completely different way of thinking. It's not even a fine, because it's not you don't get in trouble. It's not like that. You could go to jail, or it's just money. And I learned that when I was 19 years old, and my wife would write bad checks out the ass, and you go to prison for bad checks in Texas. Checks are pieces of paper that we used to be able to write to people when we buy things. We don't you do
mhm.
that anymore. But she would write bad checks, and in Texas, called theft by check. It's just like you stole money. So yeah, I would get a certified letter from the county attorney, and there would be like $300 worth of fines, or $200 of fines on whatever check. So, but I was a financial advisor at the time. I had a decent amount of money. I had to go down there and pay like $3,000, which was just a ton of money for me. But that's it. But if I didn't do that, she would have went to jail. Could have went to for like years. Um, and it was like every couple of months she would do it. So, but I know people who, like, in the because it's a military area, and so many people used to let you post date checks. You can get pizza or whatever, or something. You can post date that check for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, out till the next payday. And if you forget about it or something, and that check bounces, that's it. And most people then couldn't afford like $200 when they bought a $22 pizza, you know, um, and they went to jail. So I learned then, as a kid, that, oh, all you need is money, and most of the legal system, that's it. It just takes money, unless it's like a felony. Um, and then even if it's a felony, in some cases, when when you're in the South, they can take care of that too. But that's a different story.
I wanted to get into this a little bit more. So Reggie wrote a part 1 and a part 2. He did like a condensed timeline of the lawsuit where someone was trying to get his property, and then he did a part 2 that got into, because I am saying the reason for seizure of funds, and I believe the part 2 gets into that. It says, let's see, what makes this so hard for me is truly avoiding accepting help. I'm learning it appears as I'm against some overwhelming odds. Let's see. I'm proud and lucky to have a supportive, dynamic, vibrant community. Thank you. Love you guys and gals. I was labeled as defrauding this community, allowing members to sound off on this comment section below why I'm fighting these cases so hard and steadfast. My good name means something to me. I have children hurting and damaging their lives, not just mine. Continuing from part 1, after being precluded from presenting any evidence or calling any witnesses, I was thrust into trial. I actually thought I won the trial, but should have known better. This was a derivative shareholder suit wherein a shareholder sued on behalf of the company in order to protect the interest of the shareholders. I am and was the majority shareholder. Hold that thought. So then it goes on to talk about the court awards $450,000 in attorney fees to the plaintiff against VERITASEUM, despite evidence presented showing only $75,000 benefit to the company. VERITASEUM Inc. was a company with no assets, no income, no infrastructure, supported solely by me. February 28th, 2023, judgment entered against Middleton for $1 million punitive award, apparently guided by her reading of an SEC consent decree, which clearly states defendant neither admits nor denies. Then it went on to, let's see, talk about all that the consent decree, which he must be word doing this because it's decree, isn't it? Not degree. Let's see. I cannot speak on the SEC matters. Let's see. Difficult to defend myself. Precluded from submitting any evidence or calling any witnesses. See part 1 to learn why. And that's because his attorney was delinquent, and even the judge called out the attorney about that. You can read that in the part 1. Then his patent attorney passed away, who was unexpectedly forced to represent him in that matter. Yeah, because of the, like, it was just one horrible thing after the next.
And one of the worst things about his whole situation, it's because he has those patents, and the government can just take away those patents.
But they haven't. The patent, the tribunal at the USPTO has supported, and when Coinbase went for that, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called, where they were trying to push back on it. It was defended, and then they tried again, and it was defended again.
But with lots of
multiple counts
with technology, the 3-letter agencies can come in and take the patent, and it's just at because of security, just like they did with the Rife machine, with 0-point energy machines. There's so many stories of these like idiot savant, brilliant farmers that came up with this amazing invention, went to the patent office. That's the 3-letter agencies each have something stationed at the patent office that goes through everything that comes in and then alerts them. they've admitted that they have a person, an agent that works full time at the patent office.
There was some good news recently that a truck patent was just given to like an original like toy truck owner. But anyway, we don't want to get too distracted. This gets into March 2023. The judge stated in her decision that it is uncontested that Mr. Middleton did not owe the plaintiff any money. Then 2023, the court denies defendant's motion for additional discovery and precludes certain defenses due to repeated noncompliance with discovery orders, which I had twice corroborated in totally uncontested letter to the court stating I was not aware of such orders until it was too late to do anything about it. Plaintiff files multiple contempt and asset turnover orders. I requested relief from restraining orders, which were served by entities who I did not believe had grounds to do so in a manner that I belied was improper. Again, the judge stated in her decision that it was uncontested that Mr. Middleton did not owe the plaintiff any money. I requested leave to use his own money and assets, not the company's, to provide food for basic living necessities such as food for himself and then minor daughter who was still in school, invalid mother, utilities to heat the house, whatever. So I guess they had already seized his assets there. Or were saying they were VERITASEUM's assets and not his own. Utilities to heat the house, provide water, electricity, protect, run, expand VERITASEUM Inc. I provided pictures of dilapidated condition of his living quarters, cut off notices for utilities, obituary for 8-year-old niece who passed from cancer. Judge refused to allow him to use his own money to eat, heat, pay for his home, care for his family, stating that he did not owe the plaintiff any monies. So in spite of not owing the plaintiff monies, they still seized his assets. Middleton's home, in addition to being dilapidated, is in foreclosure, as is his mother's and childhood home where he grew up, currently being condemned by a municipality. Court told me that I could not use my own funds to eat or feed my child, nor run the company. Court was petitioned to protect under shareholder derivative laws. The judge orders me to transfer the patents from my name to that of the company, which I remember when that happened, which is explicitly ordering me to violate the court's own order of restraining assets since I needed money to pay lawyers to transfer the assets. I defend VERITASEUM and patents against Coinbase, a $65 billion fintech company hiring the largest PTAB practitioner in the world to validate the patents. After hiring a local counsel with their assistance, my own intellectual labor, stave off the attack, prevent them from validating the patent, while strengthening the patent process. Also filed several other patent applications and received a new U.S. patent as well, using my own capital. Then judge holds me in contempt of court for violating restraining orders that I didn't believe applied to me, but were issued by the plaintiff after the judge stated in her decision that I didn't owe the plaintiff any money. Judge threatens to use coercive measures, potentially jail time, against me if I do not repay $132,000 of my own money to the company that I own the majority of. So I have financially cared for nearly a decade defendants of the lawsuits. And this litigant hasn't paid me in nearly a decade, where I was forced to give my patents without compensation. Remember, the monies were used to feed me, my family, provide heat, electricity, running water, my dilapidated home, care for dying children, fight to protect the company. That is the root of what is left out of the lawsuit. Oh my gosh. Ostensibly what appears to be to pay the plaintiff's attorney fees, giving the plaintiff and his counsel priority over the company. It's just heartbreaking. So he has been working to fight all this. They're wanting him to pay they're seeing it as the company's money. Even though, as he stated in the beginning, that the company had no assets, that he was giving or supporting the company. And so they're having him put the money back in the company, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to put my words into it, but you guys can go read that on his Twitter or X account, and then there is a link there for you to donate if you feel so called to do so to help with his situation.
And let's say you're right. Let's say it's everything. It's a coup, illegitimate. It's just like where we're at now. But the flip side, what if everything works out great? There's no blood in the streets. Nothing happens. 100% proof. Trump wins. Supreme Court has evidence and comes out and says, "Oh, Obama was born in Kenya. He was not U.S. Born in the United States. His presidency was illegitimate, like you said, and the 20 election was stolen. It's illegitimate. What do we do? What do you do? What happens? Every law that was passed. I mean, literally, wars were fought. People were killed. There's what do we do? I mean, on paper, you're absolutely correct. All that stuff would be worthless and wrong, but in reality, it's not supposed to happen. So we have nothing. We have no way to deal with it.
I don't know how much you can go back and fix the past, but I know we have to stop and put the fire out and build the future. And that's where I believe part of Reggie's patents are part of building the future. That's where the free market thing has to happen. The peer-to-peer transactions have to happen. I don't know that we can go back and make it right.
We can't. I mean, there's dead people,
right?
From attacks and wars and that would make all the attacks like illegal.
Yeah,
because they didn't. It's just such a and that is the argument that you give to good people. That is like you'll do harm to our country if you put this out. If this comes, that's always been, it's for the greater good, good guy. You've got to.
The harm has been done, is being done, will be done.
Yeah, and that's where we lost ourselves. We watched. Alex wanted to watch Superman. Superman is like his favorite superhero. My favorite superhero. And the beginning of the movie, I almost started crying because in the beginning of the movie, it's black and white, and it says like 1920 something, and there's the first issue of the Detective Comics, where it's the first issue of Superman, and the kid opens the first page. It's nothing to do with Superman. And he's reading it, and he says, in the 1920s, the depression had hit all over the world, even in the great city of Metropolis, and things were bad, blah blah blah, but there was one beacon, was the Daily Planet, where people knew and they had a reputation for trust and all this stuff. And then I for truth and all this. And then I thought about Superman and what he fought for. The first damn thing wasn't the American way. It was truth, justice. If you don't have truth, everything else falls apart. That was the whole, and we knew that. I mean, it was a child's comic book that you knew that everything had to be built on truth, or you couldn't have justice. You couldn't have the American way, and now we're living here. Facts are now a lie because of feelings, Um, the what has been attacked is the truth. And people say, "Oh, you don't believe in facts or this or that." It's the truth. And
Well,
if
Sean, what did you just say? I don't know if we said it right before we got started or if we were already going, but that people are you were so surprised that people were saying, "Oh, but the laptop is real."
yeah,
Like they're
I
just
saw a
now
video.
kind of waking up to that.
There's headlines I saw like this week that the laptop is real because it was in his court date thing. So I'm like, yeah,
Like that made it
we
real.
Lisa said, duh. And not to get too out there, but God said, I am the what?
Yeah,
First word. First
the
word.
truth,
I am the truth. The truth is so
the
important.
light, and the way. Yeah.
And and I've always said there's a reason Superman wasn't a detective, wasn't a cop. Secret identity was a reporter. What we when we set up this perfect union, so much power was given to the press in our Constitution because they were the guardians of the truth. And but with CNN, we broke it. Um, CNN and the Gulf War when
And journalism used to be the guardians of the truth,
they
used to
did
be
their work.
the message board to tell the people the truth, and they became all paid off, and they became the smokescreen and the lies, the
and not
controlling.
and not even paid off. If they but big money came in and were allowed to buy to where now there's
And
only like what
weaponize.
three families, four families. So
Mhm.
I saw it's another thing that just now I'm realizing. I saw a guy interviewing people at a Trump rally that was outdoors early in the morning in the like rough weather. There was thousands of people waiting, and he's interviewing them, and it's muddy. Cause, and you know who the guy was? Ted Koppel.
Mm.
Ted Koppel, the the anchor, the my generation's Walter Cronkite. It, they have taken. Why is he doing fluff? I thought he was dead. Why isn't he? Why isn't he the voice of news? Why isn't he the anchor anymore? It's because he was a journalist. They bought everything and then they replaced everyone with actors.
Yeah.
Everyone is this stupid weather girl now.
Yep.
Everyone. They just read the script. They don't care about reporting. Um, and then the whole thing with Obama, passing that law where we can be propaganda in the United States, but it's all. I think we're seeing how important the truth was, and how it was something that needed to be guarded because everything's built on it. We have people marrying their animals, cars, because it's the truth is no longer the truth.
Yeah, when they're putting, cat litter boxes in children restrooms, the something's wrong, people. That's not the truth, and I'm not gonna play into I will not be part of your mental illness because it makes you feel good,
Yeah.
you know? That's not the truth. So, let's jump over to your channel and, talk about some more truth. You guys, thanks for joining us here. Make sure you hit the like. I'm gonna be putting the link, to donate to Reggie's fund if you would like to be a part of that and be on the right side of history. Please read the information, see if it makes sense to you. If it's something you want to be a part of and support, then you can give to that. And I will put the link in the description and you can follow those details. And we'll see you guys all over on Sean's channel right after this.